right, take two. Good morning, everybody. Dave Stevens here from Radio Row at the Tampa Bay Superbowl. Thank you to all our viewers from Ali Plus TV and Ability Media at Quinnipiac College, and of course, the Disability Channel. So we are here in Tampa. Kenny's got a little bit of time while he's ready to go into the doctor's office. I don't really need much of an introduction, but Kenny Mayne has been at ESPN for a long time, longer than me, and he's one of the biggest icons they've ever had. He's a buddy of mine. We do all kinds of fun things for charity around the country. We've had some great adventures over the years. He's been a part of our Wounded Warrior amputee football team, really helping that charity event. But of course, you remember him as being an anchor on ESPN. Seems to get all kinds of funny things. He used to do all kinds of great stories with Aaron Rodgers and stuff on Sunday NFL Countdown. After much technical difficulties, Kenny, thank you for joining me and welcome from Connecticut. It looks like not too much snow around where you are.
It's melted somewhat. Am I frozen, or do you actually see me? Because
I see you. You look good. It's moving. It's
waving. My warning came out early here saying whatever the heck streaming service this is not supported well by the crappy phone I have. Basically, is what it was saying. So that's the source of our problem. But I'm here. I wish I were there. Missing our flag football game that we play with the veterans. Missing screwing around Radio Row, which is always ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looks really bizarre. It looks like a bad 7th grade library study hall group right now.
You're absolutely right. There's virtually a couple of radio stations here. We've got your old friends Chris Visser, Josh Reimer, and Kyle Bellinger are behind me doing stuff with BJ Ganem all week for Sierra Delta. And I know you're talking to BJ later. So we got a great event coming up Saturday with Miss America and the Sierra Delta and lots of former Bucks. So it's a dog walk. It's not the WWAFT, but we're still out there supporting the veterans and the initiative for everything. And speaking of initiative, I know we have short time, so I want to get to the good stuff with you, but people don't realize that you've created an organization called runfreely.org. It originated, and we'll show some old pictures that many people probably haven't ever seen before, of you as a quarterback at UNLV, where you had to have Randall Cunningham knock you out of that lineup, if I remember.
Sam, I think that year Larry Gentry was the starter. The next year was Randall. And Randall was a backup to Sam King and I was taken out on the last play of that game with something called a fracture dislocation. I won't bore you with the 40 years in between, but basically it just kept getting worse and worse, as I got older and more arthritis and bone spurs in and metal in and metal out. And I was fortunate. I ran into a great therapist who kind of brought my leg back to life. And then I ran into a guy in Gig Harbor, Washington, who makes these devices called ExoSims. And as soon as I got mine, Gretchen, my wife, and I, we just decided, let's do something good with this. So we started a foundation, and we give them, or I should say award them, because they really have earned them. I don't like the term giving in that sense. These veterans have been injured one way or the other through their service or afterward, and we're just trying to get them kind of back into life again. And there's just been so many amazing stories. One recent lady got a job as a nurse right afterward. Another one threw away her wheelchair, gave it away. So many have, just expressed like, hey, I can go to the park and play with my kid again. Like little things that the most of us don't really worry about. But this device takes the pain away and lets them do things that they used to do. And so we've been raising money, $1 at a time, basically at runfreely.org.
And I know you've had some big help from some superstars along the way in Seattle and some big events with Nate Boyer. I mean, it's up there right now. Please take a look at the website. Help Kenny Mayne out. He's a little guy just trying to start this. It's just basically him, Gretchen, and like one other person that's doing all this work.
Yeah, Mara Gallagher. She's our go-to. She makes the thing work. But, we're fine that it's been small. Like, we're not going to be the Red Cross. No offense to the Red Cross. We're not going to have giant buildings and international acclaim or anything, but it's kind of great just doing it like the guy next door helping the neighbor down the street. That's almost been the ethic of it. And strangely, it always works out where we raise just enough money and we find out, oh, hey, there's this vet we just heard about that needs one of these. So somehow it's working, and we hope it does get bigger than it is. But, we're putting as much time as we have into it for now. And hopefully we'll have when COVID either we normalize to it or it starts to go away more, that we can do more things, we're going to have some other events.
Well, Kenny Mayne is joining us from his car before he heads into the dentist's office. And
That's right.
Kenny, obviously a real different year all around the world, and we don't have to get into politics and everything like that. But how did you and Gretchen survive this, staying inside, not seeing people? I know you're very social, so what's this been like for you this last year?
You know, I think we just got used to it. I don't know how else to describe it. It's and believe me, by no means are we looking for any sympathy because we got bored watching too much Netflix. You know, there's so many people out there who lost their work and struggled paying rent and you know, just everything. The families where the parents had to go to work to survive, and yet their little kid had to stay home alone to do the online school. And I mean, there's just been a lot of difficulty. Never mind the people who were affected by it and died. We've lost 400 something thousand people and more to come, sadly enough. So yeah, we're not by any means or no means, I should say, are we looking for any sympathy for the fact we were a little bored, but we just hung together, exercised, tried to do some good things, help out others where we could. I worked, you know, I'm still doing Sports Center. So that's a blessing in itself, right? The fact that we're still working and
Right.
being able to get by, but better days are ahead. I don't know when, but I hope sooner than later.
And you talked about a lot of the things you've done charity wise and things we've done together. You know, you've got this ongoing thing with the Seattle Mariners in your first pitch, and you got any plans to resurrect that this year? I know we worked out with the Yard Goat Stadium last year, and we shot your stuff, as you can see here. And you know, any other fun things planned for it used to be the wider world of sports kind of thing? So good.
I wish we need to get the Earth back in a situation where you can travel more freely to pull that off. But yeah, I've done the first pitch for the Mariners several times. The last couple times, I decided to set a goal. Somebody asked, "What do you think you'll throw?" And I just kind of made up a number, like I don't know, 75-ish. He says, "No way, it's not." You know, so it became this challenge with my friend at work, and then we ended up making a story out of it. I failed both times. It's funny though. I got closer this time. It was 73, 72, I forget. And that was with almost no warm-up training. I just kind of like, see you on Saturday. I'll warm up for a half hour before. The other time, I was like doing hardcore bands and this and that, and I think I burned my arm out actually. But I think I can still get to 75. I need another pitching coach. I might have to fire everybody and start over.
Well, I think you and I can work at it, and we'll get over to the Yard Goats, and we'll get you up to 80. I think what a great charity event would be is if we could get it so you could maybe face Russell Wilson with, you know, you get 6 pitches, 7 pitches, and see what he could do against you because, you know, he thinks he's a baseball player still.
That'd be fun.
So let's work on that.
That's very similar. In fact, I'll give it away. What we're hoping to do for the Run Freely is get some other quarterbacks and have just like a one-day fun day similar to the kickoff event that I had previously, where I had Jamal Crawford, Gary Payton, Jerry Rice, Steve Largent, and Lenny Wilkins. That was a good crew. And we let the fans participate with the players in their sport. So people were trying to stop Jamal Crawford, or they were trying to score on Gary Payton or throw a pass to Steve Largent. We're hoping to do a day very similar to that. Like I said, when things get clear, I mean, my hope is summer. I mean, that's my best guess of when we'd have a prayer at that. But what are we in now? January, February?
Yeah,
it's February.
Now, Kenny, I get to host a new show called Boomer Connection. It has nothing to do with Chris Berman, but you know, as you've advanced in your years, you've kept relatively healthy. I know the leg has gotten better with the Run Freely brace, but you know, how did you reset yourself and reset your goals once you got to age 55?
I've moved past 55. In fact, I had to reset at 60. Honestly, I don't know that I'm a huge, like, I have goals. Like I hope to accomplish this in the next 3 months, 6 months, year, but you know, like certain tasks or something I'm gunning for, a certain project. But otherwise, it's, you know, try to make it through the week happy, you know, make happy your goal for starters. We got so much going on. I got remarried a few years ago. You know, Gretchen came in with 2. I had 2. My 2 are at college. One of hers is about to go. Like, there's always so much going on that there's no time to do as much self-reflection. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's just like, all right, what are we doing this week? What are we doing next week? So it's keeping the energy up. Gretchen keeps me young. She's always throwing, I guess, to answer your question best is through her. She's always throwing out, like, here's healthier diet. We should be taking these vitamins. And she's always keeping her head in what's the thing that'll keep us healthiest as we go through these different challenges. Then that was even before we knew about COVID. So yeah, just trying to live well each week, trying to have good weeks.
And you've had great weeks the last couple of weeks on SportsCenter with some exciting plays. But what I want to know, we've known each other a long time, and we've been friends. And you've helped me, I've helped you. What is your takeaway of Dave Stevens? I just was always curious what you've thought. If I'm the first disabled person you really got to know, if it helped you change how you see people and perspective on disabilities and in the workforce. I was this pioneer legless dude. So
no,
I just you don't have to stroke me. I was just kind of curious.
Not at all. I think what's funny about it is the way you handled it and handle it still similar to a lot of our veteran friends. It stopped. That's not how I thought of you, or do I think? When Dave Stevens, I see him on my phone, I don't think, oh, that guy in that situation. Just, oh, it's Dave Stevens. So you humanize not just yourself, but a lot of others with disabilities, so that's not the first thing you think of, right? Like, in fact, a good example is I remember with BJ, and I was talking to him at an event. I can't remember where it was. Must have been the last Super Bowl, and he came up. His name came up and somebody was asking about his case, and I couldn't remember, is he missing one leg, two legs, which leg? Like, and I'm not making light of his injury. What I mean is none of that mattered. He's BJ and you're Dave. So I think that's the beauty of it is, yes, I see you the way you hop around and you're pretty adept at doing all that. You play athletically, on the floor playing football. So clearly you can pull it off, but it just kind of becomes, all right, that's what he's doing right now, but doesn't define you. There's more going on.
I appreciate that. And I appreciate, our friendship over the years. You've taught me so much how to handle myself, how you deal with situations in crowds and, the right thing to do when you're in public and taking pictures and photos and just the way you handle yourself, because as much you're just a normal guy, yet you are like a Chris Berman, the Dan Patricks. And while I'm on that subject, you've watched a lot of your coworkers come and go over the years, yet somehow you've stayed under radar, not much controversy the last few years that, has plagued others. How do you explain your longevity and where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I think they forgot I worked there and just like, oh, he's doing a show again. Okay, I guess why not? I don't know. I mean, I came into that job so far from left field, not the normal progression. Most people, out of college, this is going back a ways, things have changed with the internet and all, but most people get a job in whatever, Bend, Oregon, or Tri-Cities, Washington, or, wherever. And then they move up to the next level and the next level. And pretty soon, if they're lucky, they're in a bigger market. And then if they get noticed, they go to a place like ESPN. I basically started in Seattle out of, being a production assistant at a little station, but they needed one more person. And all right, he'll do it. You know what I mean? I was just like the guy down the hall, he's the only choice we got. And then at ESPN, it took me years and years to kind of break down the doors to get them to recognize me. So I don't know. I think I've always just had a little bit of a blue collar ethic with it. I think I'm okay at what I do. I think I know how to write. I know how to pull off shows, but I don't think a lot of myself. I don't have a big ego day to day about who I am or how I walk through town, looking to be recognized or, stupid like that. So I think keeping hungry kind of helps, you don't take anything for granted. You kind of appreciate the next thing. And I don't know. I've never carried myself in such a way that I think I'm any big deal, even if I think my work is good. You know what I'm saying? There's sort of a distinction.
I know we got to wrap soon. Some of my memories with you are, here in Florida, playing at Lambeau Field at halftime of a Dolphins game, all these things. But for you, if we're putting on a spot, you and I are having a soda pop. If I said your greatest fanboy moment for you, what would immediately pop to your head? Is it a game? Is it a personal college game? Was it something, or just being a part of an event?
I'd say getting to work with Stevie Wonder at the Live 8 event in Philadelphia. A guy named Tim Scanlon, I'm sure you remember him, used to run Major League Baseball operations at ESPN. And I said, hey, the All-Star Game's in Detroit, and Stevie Wonder is playing tomorrow in Philadelphia. What if I went down there and tried to get sound from him and we can make it be part of our story when we go to Detroit in 2 weeks for the All-Star game, because I used to play in the softball deal. And he's like, sounds good, go for it. And I say, hey, just so you know, I don't have anything set up. Like, they don't know I'm coming. I didn't know what hotel I'm in. Like, says, I think you'll pull it off. And it was crazy. It took 15 hours. I finally get to him. There's a story before that where we're outside his trailer, and his PR guy keeps waving people in. Like Natalie Portman gets waved in, and Will Smith gets waved in, and all these famous people who were there to present. And all of a sudden he's looking right at me, waving, big smile. I'm like, how the hell do they know who I am? Like, in my head. And I was like, all right, I guess they're waving me in. So I take a step forward. Just then Don Cheadle walks by me. They were waving to him. He was standing behind me. I didn't know this. But I didn't quit. Again, so the perseverance we're talking about, I got a hold of the guy that was doing all the waving and said, hey, here's who I am. Here's where I'm from. Here's what I'm trying to pull off. He says, after the show, you wait here. I'll bring him to you. You pitch him. Sure enough, I tell him the story. He thinks it's funny. And Stevie's line was, I can't be at the All-Star game. I have a high ankle sprain. And he did it in one take. And I'd gotten to work with him years and years. In fact, one of my first stories I ever did in Seattle, he wouldn't have remembered it, but it was a highlight to me that I got to interview him in Seattle. Literally my second day on the job. I did some, landfill story on day one, Stevie Wonder on day two. And I was so nervous, my mic was shaking, and I laid it on his keyboard. So he's talking, and all of a sudden you hear like, like this noise. And he just reaches over and turns it down to 0. Didn't even get mad, just kept talking. So I did one more at the Super Bowl in Detroit. I've been around him 3 or 4 times. And I'd say my highest acclaim ever, no Emmy, no individual Emmy. I've won some team awards and won some other things. But when his band members knew who I was after a concert, I was like, I've made it. This is as high as it gets. So yeah, that's kind of like when you said Fanboy, that was easy to do because there were all those moments with him.
That's a great story. I know you got to go. I just last wrap it up.
I'll take the Chiefs.
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, do you want the old guy because we're closer to Tom Brady's age to win, or you just think reality is going to set in and Patrick is just going to go nuts?
I just think if you add them up, they're both obviously had great seasons. They made it there, but I think Kansas City has too many horses, and one play better, 2 plays better, whatever it takes to win. Their offense is so fun to watch. It's so crazy, all the motion and the inside pitch pass to Kelsey and quick screens. Guys are running 100 miles an hour on the outside. He can throw deep. Mahomes throws all these, gets overused the expression about all his arm angles, but it's so true. Like he throws like he's throwing a softball. That's the best way I can describe it.
Yeah. All right, let me do it one more time. Let's give you another plug, runfreely.org. Here's Kenny Mayne hurt. This is the ankle brace he wears. It's a great site. It's touching a lot of lives. If you could just visit it, support it, retweet it, share, do whatever you do on social media to help Kenny and these wonderful organizations that really help a lot of veterans and things like that. Kenny, is very personal to this cause for many, many years. So Kenny, I know you're leaving. I think we've lost.
I gave you a shot at my ceiling. I'm back, but I got to go to the dentist. And you guys have a great, safe Super Bowl week.
Hey, thanks for joining us, man. We'll talk to you later.
You got it.
All right. That's Kenny Mayne joining us from Connecticut. This is Dave Stevens here at Super Bowl 55 in Tampa. Again, very quiet around here. It's Wednesday and still not a lot of people, but we'll be here all day. Some great guests coming up. Drew Bledsoe, Chris Long, JB Smoove, Daryl Strawberry. I can't believe it, man. It's pretty awesome. So thank you guys for your support, and continue to have your support for all of the people that are a part of this amazing event down here. We've got a lot of friends that are helping us. Importantly, make sure you go and check out the Disability Channel. It's disabilitychannel.ca. We've got great job opportunities for those with disabilities online. You can go to this website, find out what we got going with Anna Marie Blivens and all those things, Jay Stoyan and everybody up there in Canada. And, of course, all the people that are here, Ali Plus TV. For those of us over 55, just like Kenny Mayne, go to aliplustv.com, aliplus.com, and go there. Boomer Connection is coming up, my show, and we got all kinds of things planned for Ali Plus. And hey, one of the coolest things. See this right here? This is Quinnipiac University. We have started Ability Media. Now that's an opportunity for students to learn college courses on TV, journalism, writing, some great things. We have Professor Barry Sachs, Professor Chris Roush. We had Rocky Blyer on my class the other night. So a lot of great opportunities that we're trying to do. We're trying to change the world and give opportunities to everybody with disabilities inside and out. So I'm going to wrap it. Continue to follow Dave Stevens, me, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and all of the wonderful social media that I end up having to do almost 15 hours a day. It's a one-man job, but Sam Coonard is here for Nubability. He's going to be doing stuff. Hey, Sam, come over here and wave if any of your fans, and lose the mask because they don't know who you are, right? Sam Cooner getting started. He's had some amazing guests, man. He's got some great guests that have been a part of his telecast, his podcast for the greater game. Just awesome to hear their stories of faith and their conviction in a sport where it's tough to be able to show and be proud that God has made an impact of your life. So thanks, everybody, for joining me. We're going to be on later today. I've got a great surprise. If you watch the Drew Bledsoe story and if you've heard of the Mighty Quinn, we're going to surprise him with an opportunity to help his battle with cancer. A little 5-year-old kid in the Northeast. So that's it for me. It's been an early morning start already. Dave Stevens. Again, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok, MySpace. I don't even know if that exists anymore. But we'll see you later. Join us all day long from Radio Row. This is Dave Stevens. Goodbye.